Hello, I'm Eve Rogers. I'm a middle school ag educator in the state of Georgia, and today we're just going to take a look at my capstone project and what I'm hoping to start with it and my end product with it. What I'm looking at is end of pathway assessments in ag education, in ag mechanics, animal science, and horticulture. But I'm looking at, is there pros and cons in our state to letting students take the introductory course for a high school credit in 8th grade. So my interest in this is, I remember when it was introduced that students could get a high school credit in the state of Georgia, a CTAE in agriculture, their 8th grade year by taking the introductory course. I've been teaching, I taught high school for 6 years, and now I've been teaching middle school for 10 of the 10 years, 8 years I've taught that introductory basic ag course to our 8th graders. And so my capstone project, I wanted to see just really on the local level first, is it benefiting our high school? Because I feel like kind of my philosophy on teaching is I need to get kids excited about agriculture, but I also need to feed into that high school program. So are the kids that are starting an introductory ag course for high school credit, are they continuing? Are they going on to the high school to finish a pathway? And then I also wanted to look, when they finish a pathway, they take an end of pathway assessment. So how does that affect for an 8th grader? Is that benefiting them or hurting them to take that introductory course in middle school on their end of pathway assessment scores? So I did find this interesting, that end of pathway assessments, I remember them coming out in my 16 years of teaching in Georgia. They started actually earlier than I thought with CTAE programs. Just those career technical, are the kids getting skills that would send them out into our workforce? So it started with ag mechanics, so I knew looking at end of pathway scores, I needed to continue with ag mechanics if that was our very first one in ag education. And then we followed suit with our other pathways. Animal science came next, and then forestry, and then horticulture. So the way I'm going to conduct the research is I reached out to state staff in Georgia, and one of our state staff in Central Region, he got me a lot of data that I needed. He sent me the numbers in the state of Georgia of these middle schoolers that are in programs that offer a high school level course their 8th grade year. And for me, that was the first step I did in my timeline. And I have just been blindsided a little bit. I thought there were more middle school programs that offered that basic ag course. And I won't say the numbers are super small, but it was really only about 800 students in the state of Georgia that are able to take that opportunity of getting the introductory credit. He then sent me a list of all the programs in the state of Georgia that are teaching that basic ag course in middle school. And so my next step this week, I have to do it for my timeline, is I'm going to reach out to not just the middle school teacher, because they could give me a piece of the puzzle, but I need the high school teacher to also be on board, or high school teachers of that program, to just let me know if they're seeing that feeder program in the middle school with a high school class, helping them have students complete pathways. And then I also need the high school teacher. The middle school teacher wouldn't have the test scores. And so I'm hoping to email out to these programs and see if my goal is just to have 2 in North Region, 2 in Central Region, and 2 in South. That'll just let me look at their program and see how does taking basic ag in middle school affect their end of pathway scores, and what are their students' perceptions of having the opportunity to take into pathway assessments, and then above all, too, what are the teachers' perceptions of their students being prepared for the end of pathway assessment, and also their completion of pathways in their program. So I already have 2 teachers in our own community, because I do want to see, I'm glad that they're on board, and they want to see if our numbers at the middle school are helping their numbers at the high school, and is our starting piece with this introductory course helping them finish it with the last 2 on into pathway and having students prepared. So in animal science and ag mechanics, I've already gotten those into pathway assessments just in one South region, and then my job is going to be to team up with the other middle school, because we have 2 middle school programs here, identify those kids that started with us for their introductory course for that high school credit. And then, so hopefully after sending it out to some teachers this week, I'll have a few more programs, maybe 5 more programs that will help me by sending me their end of pathway assessment scores, and like flagging the kids that started in middle school. And then also taking like a quick survey on their perception of that basic ag course in middle school. And then hopefully by end of October, I've gotten that data and kind of compiled it just to look at the significance, or if there is a significance in us offering a high school level course to middle schoolers. How do I think this will help me personally? Well, one, I was enlightened to one program in the state of Georgia already that I reached out to just because I had taught there before, and they have recently added this introductory course for their middle school. So they said they'd love to help me, but they haven't yet seen a cycle that is so new that they don't have test data yet for end of pathway assessments, because those kids that started in middle school haven't taken an end of pathway assessment because they are not on block like us. They're on year-long programs, so they haven't seen a 3-year span. And they said the holdup for them, which I do find interesting, is that they offer it in middle school, the high school credit, but they then require that kid to repeat that high school credit their 9th grade year. So they take basic ag twice in one county. So I think that would be a benefit in a middle school student, and then freshman hearing it twice. But I just think it'll help me personally as a teacher. How am I teaching the course? Is it helping my high school cohorts offer quality education to our students, offering a high school course? Because when I started teaching middle school, they were offering, I just want to say up to 5 academic courses that a middle schooler could get in 8th grade. And I was the only CTAE course that was offered. And then over 8 years, I've seen a trend just in our county of a change in that. They've backed up from offering high school academic courses to 8th graders, but they've pushed the CTAE courses for a high school credit. So are we benefiting the students, or are we just rushing them through the system? And I'm hoping the end of pathway assessments can just be a little key indicator to show us that picture. Thank you.